The afternoon sun poured golden light over the wedding venue, making the white roses along the aisle glow like they were lit from within. Guests laughed, clinking glasses, their voices blending with the soft melody of the string quartet. In the center of it all stood Claire, radiant in her flowing white gown, the lace catching the sunlight with every small movement. Her smile seemed effortless, the kind of smile that photographs were made for, as cameras clicked and relatives whispered about how beautiful she looked. Beside her, Emily, the maid of honor, adjusted the delicate fall of Claire's veil, her own smile just as bright, though quieter, softer. The two women had been inseparable since childhood, sharing every milestone, every secret, every joy. To anyone watching, this was the picture of happiness, two best friends on the happiest day of one of their lives. But under the layers of satin and lace, behind the polished facade of celebration, Claire's chest felt heavy, as if every heartbeat carried a weight no one else could see. The laughter around her was muffled by the pounding in her ears, a constant reminder of the choice she had already made. She glanced at Emily, her eyes lingering longer than necessary, searching for courage in the familiar face. The guests saw only the perfection of the moment, but Claire knew that before the day ended, the path of both their lives would take a turn from which there would be no return. The bridal suite was a quiet oasis compared to the hum of celebration outside. Soft light filtered through lace curtains, casting gentle patterns on the cream walls. The faint scent of fresh peonies lingered in the air, mixing with the perfume from Claire's veil as it swayed slightly in the stillness. Emily stood near the vanity, her reflection framed by a border of tiny bulbs. Her hands trembled as she adjusted her dress, not from nerves about the ceremony, but from the truth she could no longer keep buried. Claire closed the door behind her, the latch clicking softly, and turned to face her friend. Emily's eyes glistened, the practiced smile fading away. Her voice was barely above a whisper as she confessed, the diagnosis, the prognosis, the reality that her time was slipping away faster than anyone knew. She spoke not with fear, but with a strange calm, as if she had already made peace with what was coming. Claire felt her throat tighten, her hands instinctively reaching out to steady Emily's. Emily asked for one thing, that Claire protect her from the pain that awaited, that she not be forced to endure the cruel ending her illness promised. The room seemed to shrink around them, the air thick with unspoken emotion. Claire couldn't bring herself to answer. She only looked into Emily's eyes, her own filling with tears, a silent agreement forming between them, one that carried both love and the shadow of something far heavier. The ceremony moved forward with flawless precision, as though the universe itself wanted to preserve the illusion of perfection. Golden sunlight poured through the stained glass windows of the chapel, scattering colors across the polished marble floor. Guests dabbed at their eyes, charmed by the vows, the music, the tenderness in every glance between the bride and groom. Emily stood just a few feet away, her bouquet trembling slightly in her hands. From the outside, she was the perfect maid of honor, graceful, composed, smiling in all the right moments. But Claire could see more than anyone else. She noticed how Emily's shoulders tensed during the longer parts of the service, how her lips pressed into a thin line when the cough quietly caught in her throat. As the priest's voice echoed in the vaulted ceiling, Claire's mind wasn't on her vows, but on Emily's words in the quiet of the bridal suite. They looped in her head like a haunting refrain, "Don't let me suffer." Each time she stole a glance at her friend, the reality sank deeper. Emily's glow wasn't from joy, it was the fragile light of someone burning out too soon. The reception awaited, with its dancing and toasts, but to Claire, the hours felt numbered in more ways than one. Behind the applause, the clinking glasses, and the endless photographs, there was an unshakable truth: before the night ended, she would be faced with a choice that would redefine love, loyalty, and the very meaning of friendship. The reception hall shimmered under the glow of crystal chandeliers, the air rich with the scent of roses and the hum of lively chatter. Laughter rang out as guests clinked glasses of champagne, toasting the newlyweds. Claire moved gracefully through the crowd, her white gown trailing behind like a river of silk, but her thoughts were anchored to a single figure at the far end of the room. Emily sat alone for a moment, away from the noise, her face pale beneath the soft layers of makeup. She smiled faintly when she noticed Claire watching, but it was the kind of smile that asked not to be looked at too closely. They had shared secrets since childhood, but nothing as heavy as the one Emily carried now. Her illness had taken away more than her strength, it had stolen her time. Hours earlier, in the quiet of the bridal suite, Emily had told Claire the truth no one else knew. She was in pain, far worse than anyone suspected, and she didn't want to keep fighting. Her request had been simple, yet impossible: help me end it. Claire's heart ached as she approached, her hands trembling despite her practiced poise. Music played softly in the background, the band's gentle tune masking the silence between them. Emily's eyes locked with hers, a silent plea passing between them. The weight of that moment pressed down like a stone. This was no longer just a wedding celebration. This was the crossroads where joy met heartbreak, and where Claire would have to decide. The night air was cool as Claire stepped out into the garden, her white gown glowing under the soft silver of the moonlight. The laughter and music from the reception faded behind her, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves. In her hands, she held Emily's bouquet, the one she had left behind after their final conversation. Moments earlier, in the privacy of the bridal suite, Claire had granted her best friend's wish. It had been quick, peaceful, and without fear. Emily's last words had been a whispered, "Thank you," followed by the faintest smile before her eyes closed forever. Now, standing alone beneath the stars, Claire felt the weight of what she had done, and the strange calm that came with knowing Emily was no longer in pain. Tears streamed down her face, blurring the moonlight, as she remembered all the laughter they had shared, the dreams they had built together, and the countless times Emily had been her rock. This wasn't the ending either of them had imagined, but it was the one Emily had chosen. From the ballroom, the sound of a slow, romantic song drifted out, wrapping around Claire like a bittersweet embrace. She looked toward the closed doors, knowing she would walk back in, put on her practiced smile, and finish the night as if nothing had happened. But inside, she carried the memory of her friend's courage, and the painful truth that sometimes love means letting go. The moon bore silent witness as Claire whispered her final goodbye.